Hello everyone, this is Riva.
Hello again, this is Keith.
Welcome back. And our third videos. So during our conversations, Keith mentioned about that he has some experience with charitable organizations, and especially in the areas of water shortage. So would you like to share more about that with our students? Sure.
We here in Taiwan and around the world don't really think very much about water. We live on an island, we're surrounded by salt water, and yet Taiwan has very few desalination plants to create fresh water. We rely on the monsoon rains, which come a lot, all at once, but not very often. We store the water in places like Sun Moon Lake, but then what do we do with that water? It comes out of the tap well, the British call it a tap, the Americans call it a faucet. So when you turn your faucet and the water comes out, but wait, we don't drink that. Maybe we should ask why. We go down to 7-Eleven, or maybe we have a large bottle of water or some kind of filtration system that we use to further filter the water and make it okay to drink. But in England, I've been drinking water from the tap all my life. I've been drinking river water all my life. So my body has become accustomed to many of the germs that we find in there. So here in Taiwan, I drink water straight from the tap, and I don't think anything about it. Yeah? we have good water here in Taiwan, but here's the point. We don't have enough water here in Taiwan. We all go down to 7-Eleven and we buy a bottle of water. Maybe it's a little fizzy, a little bit carbonated. Maybe it's a brand where we pay 40 NT for a bottle of water, half litre. So 80 pence or 80 NT for a litre of water. And yet we go down to the local gas station and we pay 25 NT for a litre of gas. So right now, the most important liquid on the planet, water, is costing us 3 times more than gasoline.
That is just ridiculous.
So certain charitable organizations, and the one I'm involved in is water.org, they've set up to make sure or to try to provide water, clean water, to many areas of the world which currently don't have clean drinking water. Now we're talking Africa, we're talking the Sudan, we're talking areas which we know have droughts, but there are many other areas where there are no water providing rivers. And one of my the favorite ones, which is now becoming very popular in Peru, are the use of water nets. Now, these are set up on the side of the mountains in Peru, where every morning when it's cool, the moist fog comes in from the ocean, okay, and blows up the side of the mountain. And as it blows through these nets and these fine mesh nets, the water condenses onto the small wires. Only little drops, but many drops come down, form into a trickle. The trickle collects in a pipe, and from maybe 40 or 50 water harvesting devices, this is producing enough water that goes straight now to people's homes. 40 or 50 homes in the village have enough water for themselves and to grow crops. 5 years ago, those people were walking 10 kilometers to find water, to bring it home. And who was doing this? Well, it was the women and the children were bringing the water back to the home every single day. Now, the women are growing crops to feed the children, and the children are going to school, because now the village has a school. Now, this one small cell has become scalable. That word scalable means we can do it many, many times in many, many places. And this has happened at the same time as one of my classmates from my school in England. He saw in Africa a big problem with the charitable organizations and the way that they currently operate. When there's a drought in Africa, the Salvation Army, Red Cross, they set up a camp and they say, okay, everybody come here. And so people from all the surrounding villages, even in Syria, South Africa, the Sudan, they all come together in large, what we call tent cities. Now in these tent cities, they're living together, they're very close. If there's a disease, it spreads very, very fast, especially diseases like dysentery. So my friend said, well, there's got to be a better way. So he invented something called a lifesaver bottle. And the lifesaver bottle is literally a small bottle, maybe the size of 1 liter, where you can put dirty, polluted water in one end and you pump it and put a pressure behind it. And it puts it through a filter which will filter out everything below 0.2, everything that's bigger than 0.2 microns. Now many diseases are just about that size, so it traps those diseases, and what you get coming out is pure, fresh, drinkable water. So that technology means that instead of all those people coming together, then they can stay where they are. They can stay in their homes. We give them a lifesaver jerry can, which will last for 3 years. We give them a lifesaver bottle, which will last a year. And they can produce their own water from the dirty stream or the dirty river that is nearby their houses. Because what tends to happen when you're in places like this, people higher up the river, when they go to the bathroom, it goes in the river. So if you're downstream, it's not very nice, and diseases spread very fast. So the population tends to move up the river. Everybody wants to be where the water is clean. Now that's no longer necessary. The rivers are becoming drinkable without adding pollutants, and it's a very simple, scalable location, and it can go anywhere. So these things are fighting what we call the water wars. And here in Taiwan, we can go up into the mountains and we see that we can drink the water there. Now we're all worried about acid rain from the pollution that's happening in Taiwan's technological hubs. We produce a lot of industrial products, we produce a lot of pollution, and yet we can find a way around that. So what's happening here in Taiwan is happening in Asia, is being cured in many places around the world. And those things coming here now. It's very exciting times. Okay, so there is our talk. Now let's just think about the questions now. We have 2 questions for you. My first question to you was, what are the name of the products that I've mentioned that will clean the water and make it drinkable? There are 2 versions. What are the names? Riva, do you have a question?
My questions to you would be, what is the object that the city used to capture the waters inside the fog? What is the object that was used?
Okay. Thank you for listening.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.